Hi everyone, it's Rachel and
Val.
from the Beacon. We just want to say hi to everyone and how much we're missing you really. Hi June and Marion if you're watching. Hello, and anyone else. We thought we'd start with a little quiz. So we're going to do a little quiz and then give you the answers at the end just to see how you go with that. So, do you want to start there?
Yep. My ones are, what is it called? So the first one, where does a doctor or a dentist work? What is the name of a fast road which usually has 6 lanes? Name the lump in front of a man's neck.
That bit there.
What is the evening before All Hallows or All Saints' Day called? It's on the 31st of October.
And people do trick or treating and kids come ask for sweets and stuff.
What kind of dog is used for racing? What dog is known for its spots? And which English dialect uses rhyming slang? We've actually got a book at the back, Rachel, did you know?
Yeah, we could.
Didn't know that, I've just discovered that.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
All these ones, these are where all the answers begin with the letter A. So the first one is a grown-up person. What would you call a grown-up person? And then another word that begins with A that means a dull ache. And what would you call a native inhabitant of Australia? Begins with an A. What would you call that person? And what would you call? What's the word for a religious building also beginning with A? And the place where you would catch a plane. Where would you go if you wanted to catch a plane? Not that you can do it at the moment, but eventually, where would you go? It begins with an A. Another word for beer, beginning with A. And what are all the letters called if they're all in sequence? So if you went A, B, C, D, etc., what's that called? It begins with an A. A vehicle that would take you to hospital is called, begins with A. And what season follows summer? And that also begins with A. What season follows summer? And what would you call a small insect that can bite? Beginning with A. That's it on them ones.
I've got a few superstitions. What will 2 magpies bring you? Remember there's a rhyme. 1 for sorrow.
2 for...
Then it's 3 for a girl, 4 for a boy, 5 for silver, 6 for gold, 7 for a secret never to be told. So it's what will 2 magpies bring you? And complete the phrase, if you sing before breakfast, you will... And it's 3 words, which I've never heard of before. Do you know? No. What will bring you good luck if you can catch it? A bride should wear something old, something new, something borrowed, and...
What colour would that be?
Quite often it's like a garter
or something, don't they? Yeah.
What qualities will a child born on a Friday possess? Again, it's a rhyme, isn't it? Monday's child is
fair of face. Tuesday's child is full of grace. Wednesday's child is full of woe. Thursday's child has far to go. Friday's child is... Saturday's child... Loving and giving?
I don't know. Right. So we go on the next one. What is the lucky bone in a chicken called? You dig it out of the carcass and you do your
often pull it with someone, don't you?
Yeah, to bring you luck.
Yes.
What is supposed to happen if you point at the moon? Didn't know this one either. This one? Mm. There is one that's not on here. Have you ever heard that lilac is unlucky in the house?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we have loads of lilac in the garden. It's beautiful, but my granddad would never allow it. It's meant to be unlucky. I don't know whether anyone else has heard that. It's just a shame. It smells beautifully. That'll do for those.
Right, so these ones, we're moving on. All these answers begin with a B. B for Bertie. A place that keeps your money. Where would you keep your money? Not under the mattress. You pay it into something that begins with a B. And what about the sound a dog makes? What's that B word? A woolen bed covering. You don't get many nowadays with quilts and that we have on our beds nowadays, but you used to have. Although sometimes you might lay one of these on the grass if you're having a picnic or something.
And if you're a knitter, you might make squares.
One of these, yeah.
To make one.
Someone who cuts a man's hair is called begins with a B. An animal that lives in a sect. The thinking organ of our body. Where do we think from? Begins with a B. A performance by dancers. Also begins with a B. An inlet of the sea. So what do you call them little, like a cove, or what do you call those? The place where you would buy bread. And the last one, a pretty insect which elsewhere in its life cycle is a caterpillar. So what starts life as a caterpillar and then becomes a beautiful bee. What's that word? That's it for that one.
Right, going back to who does what. Who is a stewardess in an aircraft? Who grows crops and rears animals for food? There was a song about this, wasn't there? McDonald.
Yeah.
Who delivers your letters and parcels?
You probably see him most mornings.
Yeah, not
From
on Saturday.
No, from a distance though, at the moment.
I think they've stopped on a Saturday as well, haven't they? I believe. What do you call someone who leads the British government? Seeing a lot of him at the moment. Now he's back. And what do you call a senior teacher in a university? Who looks after a flock of sheep? Who collects news for a newspaper, radio or television? Who works in an office, types letters, answers the telephone and makes business arrangements? Who controls the movement and parking of vehicles? They're not usually very welcome when you see them in high streets.
Not very popular with
They get a
people.
bit of abuse. So that's my section. Who does what?
And then I'm going to do all the answers are going to begin with the letter C. C for Charlie. An instrument that tells us the time. What's that? Garden fertiliser. Another name for garden fertiliser. And then a popular drink made from beans. Not tea, but the other one. Next one is a wind instrument. A wind instrument beginning with C. And then we want the name of the show by animals. Not so much nowadays, but there are a few. Acrobats and clowns. And they're performed in a big top. What's that? You might have often gone to see one or taken your children to see one. Begins with a C. And where would you go for a place of worship beginning with C? What's that called? And then a form of light made from a wick surrounded by wax. So if you had wax and a wick, what would that be called? Beginning with C. And then the next one, an instrument for taking photographs. What would you call that? And an animal known for its humps. beginning with C. And then the last one, a sweet sauce made from eggs and milk. You might have it on your apple pie or your crumble. What's that sauce called?
Right, who does what again? Who sells tools, nails and other household goods? Who makes fine furniture? Who carries clubs for a golfer? You also put tea in this, don't you?
You do, yes.
Who would you go to if you felt unwell? Who works with iron and makes shoes for horses? Who cuts men's hair? Who performs in plays? And who rescues swimmers in difficulty? And finally, who performs spectacular gymnastic feats?
I think we'll leave it there. So hopefully, when you play this, you'll be able to answer some of those questions. Fingers crossed, and we'll perhaps give you the answers at another time. See you all soon. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.